Hi, everyone. Before anything else, a moment, um, just a moment of stillness before we go anywhere. Um, because what this reading is about, the specific territory it's asking you to enter, deserves that. Um, deserves more than rushing past the door to get to the content. Take a breath with me for a second, a real one. Uh, and then come in. Grief is strange. It doesn't follow timelines. It doesn't respect the calendar or the amount of time that has passed or the number of times you've told yourself you've processed it. It arrives in a song, in a smell, in a reading with a title that puts a specific name in your mind. And suddenly, what you thought was managed is very much not managed, um, is actually right there, right at the surface, uh, waiting. If that's happening for you right now, if her name or her face or the specific memory of her arrived the moment you saw this title, that's not coincidence. That's her. In whatever form the people we've loved continue to exist. In memory, in the specific way they shaped us, in the parts of ourselves we recognize as theirs. She's here, in this right now, and she has something to say. Uh, now, um, before we go to what she might be saying, I want to talk about grandmothers, the specific, irreplaceable role they occupy in the architecture of a family, in the emotional landscape of the people who loved them, because understanding it is what makes what's coming land with the weight it deserves. Grandmothers, um, the ones who really showed up, the ones who are still missed, tend to occupy a very specific position. They are often the people who loved you without the complications of direct parenting, without the power struggles, um, without the need to shape you into something or the fear that you'd become something else. They just loved uh, in the specific, uncomplicated, you are enough, exactly as you are way that is harder to find than it should be. And that specific quality of love, the kind without agenda, without condition, without the subtle message that you'd be loved slightly more if you were slightly different, becomes a reference point, a baseline, the thing you've been measuring other love against, um, possibly without realizing you were doing it. And when that love is gone, when the person who held it leaves, um, the reference point doesn't disappear. Um, it stays in the specific standards you carry for how you deserve to be treated. In the voice inside that says, no, that's not good enough for you. Um, even when every other voice is saying settle. In the non negotiable knowledge, however buried under difficulty, uh, that you are worth more than what you've sometimes accepted. That voice, the one that sounds a lot like her, uh, is one of the greatest gifts she left. Um, and today's reading is an invitation to listen to it. This reflection invites you to consider, what did she see in you that you've stopped seeing in yourself? Not what she said, um, though maybe that too. Um, but what did her eyes say when they looked at you? What did her presence communicate about your worth in the specific way that presence communicates things words can't quite reach? Um, because whatever that was is what she's begging you to remember right now, not to perform, to actually remember. Uh, in the bones, where it was always true, the tears. Let's talk about what tears mean. Um, in this context, from someone who loved you the way she did, because tears from love are different from every other kind. They're not about sadness alone, they're about watching, um, about having the perspective that only someone who knew you before you knew yourself, of seeing the full picture of who you are, um, the whole timeline, the child you were, the person you became, and the gap, um, the specific heartbreaking gap between who you actually are and how you've been treating yourself. Um, that gap, um, seen clearly by someone who loved you without condition, produces tears, not of pity, uh, of uh, I know what you're worth, and I need you to know it too. I need you to stop accepting less than it. Um, I need you to stop apologizing for taking up space in rooms, in relationships, in your own life that you were always meant to fill. Um, that's the begging. Not desperate, urgent. The specific urgency of love that can see what you can't, um, and is running out of ways to communicate it, um, except through the most direct channel available, which is this moment, uh, this reading, um, this title that made something in you stop. Let's get specific, uh, because love deserves specificity. And what she would say, if she could sit across from you right now, hands around yours the way she used to, um, looking at you with the specific look she had, would probably cover several things. She would say, stop being so hard on yourself. Um, Not as a platitude, as a direct observation from someone who has watched you. Hold yourself to a standard that nobody else in your life is held to, who has seen you extend grace to everyone around you. Um, and then turn the harshest possible judgment on yourself for imperfections that wouldn't register as significant in anyone else. Who knows, from having watched you your entire life, that you have never once given yourself the same kindness you give freely to others. Stop. That's what she'd say. Just stop, and start treating yourself the way you'd treat the person you love most in the world. Because that person, the most loved one, uh, is supposed to be you. And it hasn't been for a long time. And she sees it. And it breaks something in her. She would say, the people who didn't choose you correctly, uh, the ones who left, the ones who undervalued, the ones who took what you gave and returned something lesser, are not a reflection of your worth. They're a reflection of their capacity. And capacity, limited human, sometimes genuinely insufficient capacity, has nothing to do with what you deserve. Nothing. She would say, I knew you before any of them did. I knew you when you were small and unguarded and hadn't yet learned to make yourself smaller to fit other people's comfort. And what I knew, what I saw in you then, is still there underneath everything that's been layered on top of it, underneath the hurt and the adapting and the getting by. That original version of you, the one I held, is still exactly what I always said they were. Worthy. Completely. Without condition. Without needing to earn it. Without it being contingent on what you produce or how you perform or whether you've figured everything out yet. Worthy just because you exist, just because you're here, just because you're you. This reflection invites you to consider, if she were sitting with you right now, what would she be most worried about? Not your safety, not your external circumstances, the internal thing, the place where you've been hardest on yourself lately, the way you've been talking to yourself in the quiet when nobody can hear, about your worth, your progress, your right to want what you want. What would she see? That you've been too close to see yourself, that would produce tears? And what would she ask you to change? Starting today, if you were willing to listen, she would say, take care of your body. Not in the aspirational, someday I'll get to it way. Now, in the specific daily, small act of care way. Sleep when you're tired. Eat something real. Put the phone down when the phone is taking more than it's giving. Um, Rest, actual rest, not just the absence of activity, without the guilt that has been making even your resting feel like something you have to justify. She would say, uh, the family situation, I, whatever it is, however tangled it's become, is not yours to carry alone. You've been holding things um, on that side of the family, in that lineage, um, that were never meant to be held by one person. Um, Things that traveled down through generations before they arrived at you, um, and got deposited as if they were yours to resolve. They're not all yours. Some of them need to be put down with love, uh, with the specific tenderness of someone who understands that release is not abandonment. It's just, I'm carrying my portion and returning the rest to where it belongs. Um, she knows about that weight. She carried some of it herself. And if she's saying anything, it might be that she's sorry for the parts that got passed down that shouldn't have been. Um, and that you are allowed, more than allowed, encouraged, um, to put them down, um, without guilt, without feeling like you're betraying the family by refusing to carry what the family has been carrying collectively for too long. Um, put it down. She'd want that more than almost anything else. Um, and she would say, stop waiting for permission to be happy, um, to want what you want, um, to take up the space you're entitled to pursue the life, the actual specific, built to your specifications life that you've been putting off until conditions improve or people understand or timing aligns or you feel more ready. Um, Stop waiting. She didn't wait. The generations before her didn't wait. They built from whatever they had in whatever conditions existed because waiting was a luxury that wasn't available to them. And something of that building from what you have energy, um, is in you, in the blood, in the inheritance that matters more than the tangible kind. Um, um, Use it. Um, she gave it to you through her example, through her presence, through the specific way she moved through her life to be used, um, not stored, not admired from a distance, used, um, today. Um, Starting with whatever small thing is available, one decision made from your own center rather than from the fear of what others will think, is where it starts. And then another, and then another, until the life you've been waiting for permission to live becomes simply your life. This reflection invites you to consider what is one thing she would recognize as her legacy in who you are right now, not what you wish you'd become, um, what's actually there, in how you love, in how you persist, in the specific quality you carry that came from her. Because that inheritance, uh, the real one, is worth knowing, worth honoring, worth carrying forward, um, consciously, deliberately, as the most meaningful thing she left you. The power is yours. Um, it always has been. She's not gone, not in the ways that matter. She's in the voice that says, you deserve better. She's in the instinct that pulls back from what doesn't honor you. She's in the specific warmth you carry, um, that people feel when they're in your presence, um, that came from somewhere, from someone, and landed in you and became yours to give to everyone who comes after. Uh, she's in you, has always been in you, will always be in you in the most permanent form that love takes, which is not presence, but imprint. Um, the specific, irreversible imprint, um, of someone who loved you before you knew you needed it and hasn't stopped. Um, listen to her. She's been talking to you in the quiet, in the moments that catch you off guard, in the instincts you override when you're not paying attention. Um, pay attention starting today. Uh, she's not asking for much. Um, just for you to take better care of the person she loved. And uh, that person is you. Take care of them, um, the way she would have, um, the way she tried to teach you to, um, the way she always believed you were capable of. Take what resonates, softly release the rest, trust yourself. That's everything today. Um, go take care of yourself, uh, the way someone who loved you completely always believed you deserved to be taken care of. She meant it. Um, she still does. Take care.